Welcome everyone to another episode of Fredsetsarna / Peacemongers. Today we're gonna talk football, and we have with us Nima Tavallaey Roodsari. Today is, by the way, 12th of June. This is almost the second day of the World Cup. So, also, by the way, hi Eric.
Hi,
Good to see you again.
And thank you. Same.
And welcome, Nima. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be with you guys.
So, we normally talk a lot about sort of anti-imperialism, left, geopolitics. We don't talk much about football. So, our audience have no idea who you are. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm an Iranian-born, Swedish-based and Swedish-raised, independent football journalist covering Italian football and international football since 2012, where I built my own platform covering Inter Milan. Built that up to be the biggest news site on Inter Milan pretty quickly in the world in English. I recently just sold that. I've worked and covered Italian football as an independent journalist and as a pundit and broadcaster. I've been on all the major outlets from the BBC to CGTN, Euronews, Talksport, what have you, Press TV, and so on and so forth. And that's what I'm going to be doing this summer as well. I'm going to be quite often on Press TV. I'm actually going on Press TV after this to talk about the geopolitical impacts that this World Cup has. And there's never been a more politicized World Cup or sporting event in history, and I include the 1936 Olympics in Nazi Germany in that, which I'm sure we're going to get to as well. But yeah, I've been doing that, and I started a podcast called the Italian Football Podcast, where we cover Italian football with my co-host Carlo Garganese, who has also 15 years of covering Italian football in English across the world. So yeah, I'm a broadcaster, journalist, pundit on Italian football, but obviously being of Iranian descent and being a political person, I also cover the geopolitical angle of sports, and in particular football, of which, like I said, it's becoming more and more politicized by the day.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you.
Pleasure to be with you.
Well, welcome.
Before diving more into football and the World Cup itself, the ongoing war on Iran, how has it affected you personally so far? It's been. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't really want to talk about that because what it's impacted me personally, because I'm not the one having bombs dropped on my head. Yeah. I'm not the one who's lost children, mother, brother, sister. They're the ones suffering. So I don't think we who live outside have any right to. That's my personal opinion. I don't think we have any right to talk about that. Our job, insofar as we have one, and we do, is to elevate their voices and to build pressure and mount pressure on this ravenous imperialist Zio-Nazi entity to stop its attacks, its illegal attacks on Iran and the entire region, from Lebanon to Gaza to Palestine to Iran to Yemen to Somalia to Libya to Syria to Iraq, everywhere where this cancerous entity has its tentacles. We need to. Our jobs is to amplify the voices of the people in those regions who are the axis of resistance to this death cult, which the Zio-Nazi imperialist entity is.
Great. So, if anyone had any doubts about your politics, now that's off the.
That's I'm a firm believer that what you read on the tin, what's inside the tin, should also be what's said on the back of the tin.
Yeah.
And so that's
fantastic. No, that's great. That's awesome.
And now over to the playing field.
Exactly. So I mean. As I said, this is like a lefty geopolitics anti-imperialist podcast. Why should people care about the World Cup, you think?
Well, you see, the thing is that, whether one likes football or doesn't like football or likes sports or doesn't like sports, it is a part of human culture. It is part of human history. And it's a huge part of what brings us together as human beings, regardless of where we are. Football is the world's game. It is that famous banner, I can't remember who had it, invented by the poor, stolen by the rich. That's what football is. It is working class culture. It's working class. The San Siro in Milan is to the working class historically what the La Scala is to the opera, to the opera scene. Like that's just how football is. And then when you have that, you've always had this kind of political element of it, because as we all are aware, everything is connected to politics. But there's a difference between that and what we've seen now, and that is the politicization of football at a level that we've never seen. And people have to care about it, because it's this World Cup in particular. FIFA, you can argue that FIFA and the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, have always been tools of establishment. But they've always been covert about it. Now it's just out in the open in a way that we've never seen. I mean, FIFA, people who complain that football and politics or sports and politics shouldn't mix, well, who did the politicizing? FIFA did the politicizing. FIFA are the ones who decided to ban Russia and Belarus for the special military operation, which NATO provoked and Russia responded to. And they're the ones who decided to ban Russia and Belarus, not the other way around. They're also the ones, FIFA, who decided not to strip Indonesia of the under-20 FIFA World Cup championships in 2023 after the onslaught and Holocaust and genocide in Gaza began. They stripped those rights, Indonesia, of those rights, because Indonesia did not want to host Israel, one of the participating teams. Fast forward to April of this year, and FIFA then continued to politicize football by inventing international law, by disregarding United Nations resolutions. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the Palestinian FA had made a petition to ban Israel based on FIFA's own statutes of hosting football matches on occupied territory. According to FIFA, the West Bank is not occupied territory, but, quote, it's contested historical land, which is insane. The official position of the United States government, even on paper, is that the West Bank is Palestinian territory occupied by Israel. That's not contested. There's nothing contested about it. So FIFA has systematically politicized football, and this World Cup in particular, with all these disgraceful scenes that we've seen, from refusal of entry to Africa's best referee, Omar Artan, of Somalian descent, who had a diplomatic passport issued to him by the Somalian embassy in Nairobi in Kenya, and was turned around, and Rudy Giuliani, son of all people, sitting there on a stage saying that there were security concerns, claiming that he had connections to terrorist entities. And I mean, it's just, this has been non-stop politicized. And FIFA in 2017, Gianni Infantino, the president himself of FIFA, in 2017, during the first Trump administration, when Trump first said that when Trump first imposed this travel ban on 7 countries, as it was back then, lest we forget, Obama did 4, or Trump brought it up to 7 in his first term. He said that, basically said that, look, it was during the bidding process, and he said, look, if players, fans, and staff can't get into the World Cup, there will be no World Cup, and that this is part of the bidding process, and whoever bids will have to follow FIFA's requirements and rules and regulations. So he knew about this. He knew about it. He's known about it for 9 years, and yet here we are, and we're seeing these ridiculous scenes. And he goes out and thinks he's some sort of some cool influencer, and asks people to chill and relax. And that's a direct quote. And it's like, no, we're not going to chill and relax. You are responsible for this shit show. You're the president of FIFA. This is FIFA's event. You've known about these issues since before even giving the World Cup to the United States. So no, we're not going to chill and relax. You need to get your shit in order. And that's the issue. That's where we are. And it's gotten so bad that even the apparatchiks of the Western media, the talking heads, the propagandists on the BBC, SVT, Aftonbladet, all these other shitlib institutions of imperialist endeavor. They're now even calling it out. But of course, they don't. The way they call it out is they call FIFA out. But lest we forget, 4 years ago in Qatar, and even before that in Russia, they could never stop banging on about human rights and whether it was women's rights or gay rights or workers' rights. Well, here we are in the United States. We're watching all of those rights, everyone's rights being violated. And yes, this is on FIFA, but they don't mention anything about the host country. But we know who these people are. They're not journalists. They are unofficial PR agents for establishment propaganda and imperialism. This is who they are. We know that. But it's gotten so bad that they're even calling it out. And that's very rare.
I mean, we've seen like especially in Qatar, like the German team going out its way to condemn Qatar, do silent protests, like having their mouths like this before the game and shit like that. But now they are open. Their captain is saying, "Oh, you shouldn't expect politics from footballers. It's not our place." Blah blah. It's like the hypocrisy is it's sort of it's in the entire West. You see that.
Norway said 4 years ago that had they qualified, they would have boycotted the World Cup. This time around, they have qualified and they're not boycotting the World Cup. So this is bullshit. I'm sorry for swearing, but this is horse. This is nonsense, and no one takes them seriously anymore. I mean, they've embarrassed themselves on a global stage. These people, it's nothing more than. And I do think I was on RT. I was on RT India discussing this. And look, I think these matters are important matters of women's rights and LGBT rights and stuff like that. These are important issues. But the problem is that these people, the people in these Western talking heads, they don't give a shit about women's rights. They don't give a shit about workers' rights. They don't give a shit about gay rights. They don't give a shit about any of that. All of that is just used as cynical tools to further their own dehumanization, their continued dehumanization of brown people and Muslims, predominantly Muslims, but not just only, because there's millions of Christians living in the Middle East, but just the demonization of the Middle East and North African region as non-humans, as savages. And of course, the irony in all of this being that their governments, are the inventors of ISIS. They invented Al-Qaeda. They invented what became the Taliban. They invented these alphabet soup of these takfiri lunatics who have unleashed a plague on the Middle East. They invented them, right? They're the ones who turned Libya from the most successful state in African history to a failed state with open slave markets. They're the ones who have put a suit on this ape named Jolani and parade him around. I've seen videos of this man eat hearts, for fuck's sake. I'm sorry, but I have seen videos of him eat a human heart, cut a head, okay? And now they're parading him around as if he's some sort of, statesman. And Trump takes him to they play basketball in the White House, and they've inaugurated him the president of Syria. So anyone with an IQ over room temperature understands that they don't give a shit about human rights, religious rights, gay rights, any rights. What they care about is whatever they can use at that moment to further and destabilize the region, to steal it and rob it of its resources. That's what this is all about, and everyone can see that.
Yeah. It's rich coming from Norway, blaming Qatar when they recently gave the peace prize to a fascist in Venezuela, trying to overthrow the state there. And I remember from the Qatar World Cup where Zlatan was in an interview afterwards, and he said the tournament, it was a 10. The hotel was a 10, and really saying it was a great tournament. And the media opportunism turned it political. They had slave labor to build the arena or whatnot. But what do they really expect? He was talking about the tournament. He was one of the biggest football stars in the world. He gets the best treatment he rolls in like a king. Of course, he's Zlatan. Of course, he has a good time, but then you can turn it political, which is the opportunism in it is very, very weak.
No, it's pathetic. And look, they wanted to do that. I thought it was brilliant what he did. He said, like, look, you're trying to fish, trying to bait me into saying something that I don't want to say, and he doesn't like that. If you got a question you want to ask, then just have the balls to ask it to me.
Exactly.
And yeah, exactly. And that was what he was doing, and he looked at them funny, and I think that was the right thing to do. And also, look, the Qatar World Cup was the best World Cup we've seen in terms of, and even before that, the Russia one was outstanding. The way it was organized, it was hosted, the way it was outstanding insofar as the tournament was. It was brilliant. We're seeing, I mean, from infrastructure, from the visa, the way the visa was handled, we didn't have any of this ridiculous notion. I mean, the price gouging that's going on now by the local government in the United States, $98 single-way train ride to get to the stadium, wherever in places they even have public transport, because they don't have public transport in that country in many areas. So, you know, not to mention the visas of the Iraq player who was Ayman Hussein, who was detained for 8 hours and then let in despite having a visa, or the Iraq photographer Salah, who had a visa and then was sent back, not allowed in the country. Not to mention when we're seeing the Uzbekistan team coached by Ballon d'Or winner Fabio Cannavaro, the former Italy national team captain, who lifted the World Cup in 2006. When they arrive at the stadium in somewhere in the United States to play the Netherlands in a friendly, and he's got police dogs sniffing up his ass looking for drugs. I mean, it's just, we did not have that in Russia. We did not have that in Qatar. And and that doesn't mean that Qatar and Russia are heaven. No, that does not mean that. It just means that it's a tournament. There's an organization in place. 2 of them were outstanding. The Western media were collectively clutching their pearls, banging on about things that had nothing to do with football. And this time around, when this is a complete shit show, and we've all seen what kind of a shit show it is, now it's just FIFA's fault. It's not the administration fault, but it's FIFA's fault. It's Infantino who kisses up to Trump. Well, FIFA's been doing that all along, but you only call it out on one side. Like, this is the hypocrisy that they do, and that's because they know where their bread is buttered. You don't need a formal conspiracy when interests converge. If you think that the BBC, SVT, Rai in Italy, and so on, these state outlets and these private media outlets are somehow free media, you're an idiot. And I mean that in a serious way. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that seriously. I use the term seriously. You're an idiot. You're a low IQ person. Because now the shit is so much out of the bag that if you can't understand what's going on here, I don't know what to tell you. You're actively choosing ignorance, and that is a choice. Ignorance is a choice.
There is also a lot of propaganda, though. I mean, we have to get, like, the idea. So the critique against Russia and Qatar, if you look at the record of what USA is and has done and has been doing, it's co-belligerent in the starvation holocaust that's going on in Gaza. They've attacked Iran completely unprovokedly, killed around 200 children just in the first salvo, killed the leader of the state, all that. Like, it's waging an active war, destroying water plants, things like that. Like, there's no comparison actually between the US and Russia and Qatar. US is way worse. But like, we don't even talk about that.
Sport.
Exactly.
No, it's not even the same sport. I mean, if you look at the number of the destabilizing impact that the US imperialist government has had in the world in the last 70 years alone, I mean, it's not even the same sport.
Exactly.
You can't even compare. But my point was more that, listen, the way that this is covered is that they don't ever criticize. They only go after the US government in question when they absolutely have to, and when they do, they always tie it to one individual. It's Trump's fault. It's not the US empire. It wasn't Joe Biden was portrayed in the media as this kind of We were all supposed to pretend that he was just this lovely little grandfather figure, even though he was obviously demented and had Alzheimer's disease. And he was the one who, lest we forget, the genocide and Holocaust in Gaza, most of it occurred under his watch, right? Trump only came into office in January 2025, like, lest we forget, right? So it's the way they portray and the way they talk about Barack. I mean, they gave Barack Obama a fucking peace prize, Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, the man who ramped up more, who killed more innocent people in the Middle East via drones than any other president, than anyone ever in history. And the way that he ramped up from 2 to 7 wars in the Middle East, the way that he destabilized Libya, he was the one who started the starvation siege in Syria and so on, with Operation Sycamore. I mean, it's just Timber Sycamore. I mean, it's just, but they don't care. They don't cover these things. And it's boring. And this is why people don't listen to them. And then they have the audacity to talk about, no, we need to control social media, because they've lost the narrative. Nobody believes their shit anymore. And that's why they want to control social media. That's why they want to censor. The democracy people, the free speech people want to censor everything and everyone, so they're the only voices that are heard. And, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. People aren't going to buy it. I mean, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. And that scam is going so far right now. So you compare it to the Qatar and the Russia tournament, and you mentioned the high prices of just traveling to the United States within the United States. Also, I've seen the ticket prices comparison between Qatar and US. Sometimes 10 times the ticket price from Qatar. Really expensive seats, and we could see pictures from empty stadiums or half-empty stadiums. But how much is the tournament like organized by FIFA, and how much is the host country? And
well, FIFA is the organizer. It's their tournament. So what they do is they build a local organizing committee in each of the countries. But it's essentially their tournament. Of course, they will need to have cooperation from the local, from the host country in terms of logistics, policing, security, all of that. But it is FIFA's tournament, and they have local organizing committees which oversee this in every country. So it essentially is, FIFA can't run away from this. They have to sort this out. This is on them. Whatever happens is on them. Of course, we have to go into every single detail of each incident and see what happened and where and what not. But so far, Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, his only reaction has been chill and relax. And those are direct quotes, which is bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. Yeah. You can't take that seriously. So yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But look, the tournament has started now. From what I've understood, there's 180,000 unsold tickets. There are 3 attorneys general of 3 states, California, New York, and New Jersey, who have opened investigations into FIFA's ticketing sales, because they believe they might be violation of local laws in terms of price gouging and in what they've done, because a lot of people have bought tickets that they thought were in one place and then realized they're in somewhere else, which is completely illegal.
Like in another town.
No.
In another seating category.
Yeah, in a sitting category, they just invent, which is like completely not allowed. And that's being investigated by 3 attorneys general. This is a complete mess. And this is what I'm saying. Most of this is on FIFA. Look, Donald Trump campaigned 3 times on what he was going to do when it came to immigration. So it can't come as a surprise to anyone. And he won twice out of 3 times on those promises. People can have whatever thoughts they want to, but every country has the right to decide who enters and who doesn't enter its borders. It's just national sovereignty. It applies to Sweden, Iran, the US, everyone, right? But it's not a human right or a legal right or a moral right to host a World Cup. That is a privilege. And if there is a privilege, then it means that you have to open up your country. the US should have been stripped of these rights by FIFA because they can't live up to those requirements, and they haven't done that. That's the problem here.
I mean, there's
that FIFA have not. Yeah.
So there's like a practical historical example as well, right? In South Africa, and I don't remember exactly where else, but previous World Cups, the hosting countries had to temporarily change their laws to accommodate.
Everywhere. Russia did it in 2018. Qatar did it in 2022. Brazil had to do it in 2014. Like, everybody does it because this is when you want to show off your hospitality. You want to show this and this. This administration doesn't want to do that. That's fine. That's up to the American people to sort their shit out. I don't comment on the internal politics of the United States because I'm not American and I have no plans to be an American. So that doesn't really concern me. That's their problem. They can sort that out. But what I think is the most important thing is that if they're going to host a tournament there, and they're going to have the Olympics there in 2 years' time as well. So we're going to go through this song and dance in LA in 2 years' time as well. Again, they're going to have the Summer Olympics there. You can't have a situation where you have 27 countries essentially being banned from, and you're going to host an international tournament. It doesn't work. And who does that land on? That lands on the IOC or FIFA. It's their tournament. They have to strip the rights. They have to basically go and say, either our athletes and our delegations, participating members, can join. If not, we'll move our tournament elsewhere. But of course, they're not going to do that because we know how compromised these organizations are. Like I said, FIFA decided on its own that the West Bank is not occupied territory.
It's insane. I didn't know that. That's insane.
Yeah. My brain was broken when that happened.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Yeah. The number of Israeli teams on occupied territories have exploded in like three-doubled or quadrupled in the last 10 years.
And that was what the Palestinian FA had filed, had used FIFA's own statutes to try to ban them, because you're not allowed to host football matches on internationally occupied territory. And FIFA literally said that the West Bank is historically contested land. It isn't. It's not an opinion. This is a matter of international law.
Exactly.
It's a fact of international law.
That's
so
insane.
When people talk, so I mean, they have decided to completely just become a tool of the Epstein class, the sports PR tool of the Epstein class, and that's why I call this tournament the 2026 FIFA Epstein Cup. That's what it is.
If we go to a bit more practical stuff, I don't know how much time you have left.
Yeah, I've got.
Okay, cool. So in this case, the tournament is hosted by 3 countries, not just the US. It's Mexico and Canada as well. Like, in a practical approach, they could just say, okay, if you don't oblige with the rules and conventions we have, we just use Mexico and Canada and take you out of the cup, right?
I don't think you can do that because it's 104 matches, and then you have to host all these teams, and they have to be able to live there, and then you have to move the fans. I mean, it's too late now. If they wanted to do it, they should have done it a year ago. You know what I mean? They should have done it 1-2 years ago when we were headed towards this disaster, because everybody knew that Donald Trump was going to be reelected in 2024. Like, we all knew they was going to go get a second term. So they should have done something there, but they didn't, because they don't care. It's about lining their pockets. Yeah, he's both on. FIFA standing to make about, was it $12 billion off of this tournament? Jesus.
Well, I mean, do they have like any internal mechanism that can investigate this, or external? Like, what can anyone do about this? Like, it all feels so like desperate, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. But like, I mean, the Obama administration investigated and got rid of the prior FIFA regime. And the reason they did that, I mean, now we know, is because they installed essentially Gianni Infantino, because they knew he would do what they want to do. So it's got nothing to do with when people say that he just loves Trump. No, Gianni Infantino it's very clear now that he was installed by the US after they got rid of the previous FIFA regime, because they weren't too beneficial to them. Now we need to have independent watchdogs, whether it's in whichever country that looks into it. That actually, if it's Interpol or whatever it is, we need people to look into and lift every stone and see what kind of corruption has been going on and what backroom deals have been promised, and is it legal and is it not legal, and so on. I mean, FIFA has their headquarters in Switzerland, where they're given a special tax exemption, yeah. And I mean, it would fall on the Swiss police, you'd think, and the Swiss authorities to look into this, but I'm not sure there's that much of a will by the Swiss government to do so, because losing, if then FIFA will just relocate, and they don't want that. So no, it's a bit of a mess, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't think Gianni Infantino can continue. I think this is, with the way that this has been handled, and so many former players have been finally speaking up now. They damn took their time.
Yeah, but I've seen Ruud Gullit as well.
Ruud Gullit finally, Ian Wright finally, Gary Neville found his testicles and decided to speak, which is hilarious, given that that man never stops, never ever passes on an opportunity to prostitute himself out to the highest bidder. But he finally discovered some form of spine and decided to speak. You have other people who decided to speak up this time around as well. But because it's the level of corruption is so in your face, it's just astonishing. You cannot turn a blind eye to it. The shit show we're seeing is at a level that we've never seen before. Never seen before.
I mean, we're talking about football, which is, especially during the last, 10, 20 years, it has become extremely corrupt as well, with all the betting and all the shit going on, with all the Gulf money that's poured into European football. Like, it's a money laundering scheme, unfortunately, globally. But this has taken it to a completely different level. It's astounding.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been like that, unfortunately, but it's just that the matter of degree to which it has become now is just at a level that is just...
And that's not supposed to be so visible, like showing up in...
Yeah.
I mean, FIFA is huge. They had years of planning and unlimited spending to do a good tournament. Just take this, like they have their rules, like no politics on the jerseys, like the shit that's come up from the Haitian team. They denied.
I mean, the shit didn't come from Haitian team. The shit went to the Haitian team.
But it comes up so late. They could have vetted this long time before, and like.
Yeah, just for people to
clean. Just okay. We have a no politics, clean show here, but
just for people to know what that whole thing was about. So the Haitian team had at their uniform had this coat of arms, which shows Polish soldiers that actually went and helped Haitian revolution, defending it against the French during the Independence War. But that wasn't okay for FIFA, so they had to remove that. That's what it is about.
Look, there's another aspect of this as well, and that is that when Iran is based in Mexico, in Tijuana, and they have their base camp there, and they're going to have to travel. They have multiple entry visas to get to play the games, and they're going to go there. According to the Iranian Football Association, they're going to be there 24 hours before the two games in LA and 48 hours before the game in Seattle, and they're going to have to enter the United States and spend one night there. Now, given what we've seen from people who have visas, and given how the Iranian delegation is furious already, if they start messing about. When the Iran team enters and they start detaining them, I wouldn't be surprised if Iran says, fuck it, we're not playing. Fuck you. Just very sorry, my French, but like, this is the level. Iran has had it up to here with this situation. They are finished. They are done with this. So, especially now with a war being where it's an active conflict again, it's a hot war again. Regardless of what the orangutan in the White House says, it's an active conflict, and so people are dying, and so there's not very much patience. And if they start misbehaving and detaining and not allowing the Iran team in and fussing and fighting, I wouldn't be surprised if Iran just doesn't turn up and say, you know what, no, we're not doing it. And that would be a huge scandal. And this is for the 3 games. So we don't know. This is the problem. We don't know. The tournament has started and we don't know what's going to happen, even though the people have the players have the visas.
Actually, before we started talking, I was thinking, like, why did Iran actually not boycott from early on? But there's a good point. If they did boycott, some other team would be taken in at the last minute. But now they can't. Now Iran is in. Schedules are schedules. Like, if Iran says, okay, fuck it, we're pulling out, then they're fucked. Like, they'll have a huge mess in their hands.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. And it's and that's, you know, I was one of those who was against the Iran participating in this Goebbelsian pantomime masquerading as a World Cup. I did not want them to participate. I think it was inappropriate. I think it was just, you know, after Donald Trump threatened the entire Iranian team on Truth Social and then walked it back a couple of hours later, I was against them participating in this. I didn't want them to do it because I think it just creates so much problems. And everyone else in Iran, an overwhelming majority, said, no, this is the World Cup we have to participate in. Now play our flag, our anthem on their like ground and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, but you do realize you are dealing with the US empire at its most dangerous, ravenous, unhinged state ever, because it's dying. An animal is its most dangerous when it's cornered and dying. And this empire is falling and collapsing, and it makes it extra dangerous. You don't know what they're capable of. And all the rules and regulations that in the past used to apply, they don't apply anymore. They're capable of everything. So why would you risk it? Why would you put yourself in that position? But okay, they've decided to do it, and here we are. And, you know, let's just hope that everything goes well and nobody dies.
Yeah, it is not just about the Iranian squad, but like there was this incident where a fan jumped into the pitch, which happens in every game, more or less, and almost every game in the World Cup, historically. The police was so harsh. One of the players, I think it was a Chelsea player actually, sort of felt he had to intervene. And his teammates were like, yeah, just don't. I mean, at some point, like, this is the first day. Like, there's, I don't know how long it will be. Very long. It's going to be more than a month, right? Because it's 48 teams.
Yeah.
It's going to be very long. So there will be many opportunities for the police to shoot someone. And I mean, we know these maniacs are trigger happy. Like, I really think something bad will happen at some point, because it's either on the pitch or off the pitch. I mean, it's like, it is almost impossible that it won't happen.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. This is my fear as well, and this is why I keep saying that I hope that this thing passes without any incident and without any casualties. At least it's a mess. It really is.
It's also
just having the Iranians there is very politically sensitive. The Haitian jerseys is nothing compared to just having the Iranians enter the scene, so to say.
Absolutely.
At this time.
Yeah, but it's not just that. You also have to remember that I don't want to be conspiracy theorist here, but the fact that Iran was drawn, and I use drawn because I'm starting to believe this was not a draw. I'm starting to think the draw was rigged. But the fact that I don't have evidence for it, but it's just a feeling I have. The fact that Iran has to play 2 of its games in Los Angeles and Seattle. And I don't know if you know, but Los Angeles is ground zero for the most toxic, cancerous, so-called Iranian diaspora that exists anywhere in the world.
The Zayagosanos.
Tehran. Yeah, the Tehran, we call it Tehrangeles trash that live there. And they are already talking online about when the Iran team comes that they're going to, they've already threatened them online, and, they're waving these Israeli flags and that. and the Shah, the imperial flag of Iran, and so on and so forth. And FIFA has said that, it's FIFA's regulations that the only flags that are waved at a tournament are the official flags of that nation. And they have to stop them. I mean, which in France, the French police did, the German police did, the Russian police did, the Brazilian police did, the Qatari police did. Like, this has never been a problem at any World Cup before. I'm not sure that this is going to happen this time around. And they're going to turn it into a complete shit show. And these so-called Iranians, these Zionist losers and weirdos who live there, are all going to, if they turn up to the games, they're going to boo and hiss. And then you're going to have Iranians there who just want to watch the football and support the team. There's going to be lots of it's going to be a shit show. So yeah,
But
I'm just
ticket-wise, the Iranian tickets were cancelled, right? Or
so every country gets tickets allocated to it. And the Iranian FA received 8%, I think, of their total, of the Iran team's total allocations given to it to sell to fans, and they did. But of course, the US, with no reason whatsoever, just cancelled those allocations. So you have lots of people who bought tickets from the Iranian FA, who bought for flights, hotels, and so on, now don't have tickets. It's a circus. I mean, I need to, like, people need to understand that we've never had a shit show like this at a World Cup before.
Yeah, this is absolutely not normal. This is insane.
No, this is not normal. This is not normal, even by FIFA standards, even by
exactly
their. I mean, even by the law. I mean, the bar was already on the floor. Now the bar is so low, it's tickling Satan's balls in hell. This is how low we've reached.
Yeah. But okay, so for people who love football, what do you suggest they do? Like, should they not watch the games? Should they boycott the TV?
I got to be honest with you. I'm only going to watch Iran's games.
And this is your job, by the way. Like you.
Yeah, I am a football journalist. Yeah, I am. Italy's not there, thank God. Even though I wish they would have been. It's not nice to Italy to miss 3 tournaments, but Italy aren't there, and I'm kind of happy they're not, because we would have had to do so much more work. So Iran is there. I'm going to cover it for as long as Iran is there. But other than that, I don't want to have anything to do with this. But I mean, each to their own. I'm not the kind of person to, sit and pontificate to people what they should do and should not do. But because I do think that football is ours, it's not theirs. Football, it belongs to all of humanity, not a bunch of, not politicians who are beholden to the Epstein class. No, I think football belongs to us, and so I get that. But I personally am not too fond of this situation at all, and I won't be watching. I mean, back in the day, I would have covered it much more closely, but I actually had an opportunity to fly to the United States to cover it, and I turned it down. I don't want to have anything to do with this tournament. I really don't want to have anything to do with it. So I'm going to minimize as much as I can. I will be doing providing commentary for Press TV and probably RT India as well throughout this tournament. But other than that, I try to minimize my interactions with this shit show as much as possible.
Because even if we only look at like the playing field, their performance will be very much affected by like jet lag, all the harassment, the crazy shit going around. Like, it's not gonna be like fair and square on the play.
No, Iran has already complained about this. Amir Qalanoui, the coach, already said that we should have been here 2 weeks before, because in order to acclimatize and get used to everything, we only got our visas 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But now they're there. They're in Mexico. I'm happy they're in Mexico. They were supposed to be in Tucson, Arizona, but now that they're in Tijuana's only a 55-minute flight from LA. So that minimizes a lot of like travel, and they're going to go the night before anyway to LA. So they might take a bus 2-3 hours. That's not much, is it? Yeah. But they will fly from Mexico to Seattle 2 days before, so that should be fine. But the Seattle game, we haven't even spoken about that. So the Seattle game is between Iran and Egypt, and the Seattle mayor decided years ago that that particular game was going to be the Pride game. And Iran and Egypt, when they were drawn to play that game, they said there's no such thing is going to happen, and FIFA can't make them. There's nothing FIFA can do to make them. So because it's not FIFA that's doing it, it's the city itself. So they've kind of distanced it. But again, we have this ridiculous, politicizing of identity politics because does anyone actually think that gay rights is promoted or helped by doing this? Like, does this help anyone? Who is it for? It doesn't exactly help gay people in Iran and Egypt, does it? It's just, if anything, it makes them a target. It doesn't exactly promote gay rights anywhere in the world. It just creates more division between people, which is their aim. I maintain that this is what they do. They will use anything, women's rights, black rights, gay rights, any rights, to divide people. Yeah, to divide people across social and ethnic lines, to prevent them from uniting across financial and economic lines. That's what this is about. That's what it's always been about. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Nima, for joining us today.
Pleasure. Pleasure to be with you.
Anything else you'd like to add before we quit? What was that?
Sorry, I just got a message from someone. I didn't see what it was. No, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, no, listen, no, it was a pleasure to be with you guys. It was a pleasure to be with you guys, and keep fighting the good fight. And I'm sure that even these dark days shall pass. But inshallah, exactly. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
how can people
ahead,
follow your work, your journalism? You mentioned a few. You can send us some links we can have in the description. But
sure.
Where are you?
No, I'm on all social media. I have the same handle at Nima Tav ROOD. So Nima Tav Rood on Twitter, Instagram, on TikTok, and the same thing on YouTube. If you want to follow Italian football, we don't talk as much about politics unless we have to, but we talk more about the Italian football, both the national team and everything else. It's the Italian Football Podcast on all podcasting YouTube platforms at ItaFootPod.
Yeah, so if you send all of that to us, we'll add it to the descriptions.
We'll do.
With a nice picture of you as well for the cover.
Cheers. I'll send you a picture as well.
Yeah. And before we go, please, everyone, donate to Gaza. It's extremely necessary. The situation is, as you know, dire. The genocide continues. So what we can do, we should do. And one big part of it is to just donate whenever we can, as much as we can. As Justin Potter says, donate until it hurts. It's necessary. Eric, is there anything you want to say before we close?
No. Thank you, Nima. It was very interesting. This was not my subject with football and all, but it's very interesting to see it such a big geopolitical arena, just like the UN or the big institutions. So it's huge.
No, it's a front in the war. Like, sport is a front in that war, in the propaganda war, and therefore there's not very many people in football journalism that take that battle on. I think it's just myself and Leila Hamed, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But
Abu Bakr Abed from
Abu Bakr as well, from Gaza as well, and now that he's in Dublin as well, he's been screaming as well. But I mean, it's just I don't really know very many other people except us three in football journalism who do this. And so if you're a football journalist, then join us.
Do it.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Take care. Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you very much, Nima.
Good to be with you guys. Take care.
Bye.